So we just seen that Devon looks like he's going to be taking a match against Leonidas. I think it might be going down December over at King of Table. I think it might be hitting up in Vegas. What's the guys' overall thoughts of this match? Let's start off with you, Dustin.
It's Leonidas and
Devon Larratt.
What are we talking about? Oh, he just went against John. Do we live in a world that we don't think that Devon's better than John right now? That's what I mean.
You know what the question is at that 105 kilogram. We're not sure. What Devon we have. We just seen him. Kind of struggling with Chance.
Yeah, I understand where you're at. I think that competing at that level, you peak for events, right? Devon just got off the couch and went in a match with Chance. I don't think that a Devon that prepared for Chance, like Toddzilla prepared for Chance, would have had any problem with Chance whatsoever. And I think Chance is a legit arm wrestler. If they're both at the same weight as well, like if Leonidas is going to make weight, we're actually going to do a real event, and that's what it sounds like this would be. I think that Devon is way too much. It's just too much hand. And that's
a good question, though, man. I couldn't see. Do you think Leonidas is going to go down to 105, or are they going to let him, kind of just come in whatever weight he's at, which I would think he walks around 240, 250 is my guess. I don't really know.
The dude's a house, man.
Oh, yeah. And he's really strong. The dude is really, really strong. And he's starting to get his way on the table. John definitely had to pull out the bag of tricks that day. It wasn't.
Can we pay our dues to John in that match? Was it probably the most versatile, greatest act of arm wrestling any of us have ever seen?
Bro,
I haven't been around long enough, but for me, it's the best.
Every style he went into that match, bro. He went into the hook, he went outside, then he flop press, which, we don't see John flop press that much. I mean, even he came close to going King's move. He was in the open top roll and all. So, I mean, he pulled out the bag of tricks, man, for that one. So that was definitely cool to see.
I don't know if the pay-per-view captured it appropriately, but the entire room was literally standing and screaming the whole time, freaking out through that whole thing.
Hell yeah. Yo, so Oscar, no, it was nothing to do with the beef with Engen, bro. I was invited there, and what it was is I was there at my spot for 2 months before. I had a grand opening for my business. It was supposed to be the weekend before, but Sarah Bachman hit me up, and she was like, I'm throwing my first big event. I would love to have you out there. So I was like, oh my God. I was like, Sarah and Mikey are throwing an event. I got to show my support. So I actually, canceled my trip back. I postponed a couple of weeks to the grand opening, but being there 2 months, I couldn't push it any past there. So I didn't even make it up to Sarah's. We got hit with a hurricane. I couldn't even make the drive up there, which I was really sad to miss that. But yeah, I couldn't stay an extra week. Being there 2 months and all that, it was time for me to get back here and kind of get my business running and all. But yeah, I will be at the next East vs. West. It's nothing like me and Engen that's separate. I have no ill will against him. I love what they're doing with the East versus West. I'm also good friends with Chance. I plan on competing at the Florida Armwrestling League. That's one of my home states. So, definitely going to be pulling there. So nothing like that, Oscar. Don't hold no grudges for sure. I want to ask Israel. I want to get your thoughts on Leonidas versus Devon. Do we think that this is going to be closer than people think? Because a lot of people, you say it and they just count out Leonidas, say there's no shot. But I'm a little skeptical, man, with Devon at this 105. And I'm hearing, I heard Engen saying that he was a little, skeptical of what he's looking at that weight class. What is your thoughts, man? Could we see a possible upset that day?
I think you hit a good point saying that a prepared Devon would be a different Devon. I do think maybe he was, mostly off the couch. I do think he's going to be prepared for Leonidas. I honestly think Leonidas versus Chance Shaw would be a more interesting match. I just don't see how, Devon loses to Leonidas. Maybe left-handed. I don't think the match is going to be left-handed. I think that would give Leonidas a better shot, but right-handed, no way. Devon's he's gonna win.
Matt, what's your thoughts on this match, bro?
Yeah, it's a fun match. It's the same thing as it was with Chance Shaw. You know what's going to happen with the outcome, but you'll watch it anyway because it's like, oh, what crazy antics is Devon going to do? How strong is Leonidas going to actually be? Whether he's going to if Devon's going to allow him to get certain positions, and then he's going to talk trash. I think it's one of those matches that Devon seems to be taking lately, and I think it's good on him as well. I mean, if you've gone for that number one spot in the world against Levan twice and you failed, unfortunately, I mean, he gave it his best go, but it's like while Levan is number one, Devon's not going to be number one. So why not take some fun matches and against people with big names in the sport? I mean, Chance Shaw, I think that was basically thrown together last minute, but it's like, well, why not? And everyone, I'm sure, enjoyed the match when they saw it. It was very entertaining. There was a wrestling match halfway through, and with Artem Taranenko, and a lot of drama, and all the antics that go along with Devon Larratt. And if you're a promoter, and it's like, anytime you put Devon's name on a card, you're going to get interest. And you've got a giant, muscular, crazy, powerful, strong guy in Leonidas, and he just had an absolute war with John Brezink. And it's like, yeah, let's put them together. And why not? It's like, yeah, Devon's going to win, sure, but it's going to be fun to watch.
I think
Paul, I caught up with the chat, and they're saying it's left-handed open weight. So if Devon comes in around 105 and Leonidas is able to just stay big and strong left-handed, I definitely think it could be an interesting match.
Well, Leonidas is at 275. Somebody in the chat said, Nate said that. So, it's a big Leonidas. But I think there's an overall plan here for Devon. I think Devon's, working himself into this weight. He's figuring out what he's got to do because I think he's got his sights set on the belt. I think he wants Oleg Petrenko. He wants that 105 kilogram belt. I think that's what we're looking at. I also heard Chance was talking after the match and saying that if Devon went and took the match against Petrenko, that he would lose in the next month or two. But he said that he would change his opinion if Devon had 2 to 3 matches at that 105 kilogram. Then he would put Devon as the favorite. So I think that's kind of the path that we're seeing right now. I think he's just kind of, again, when you change your weight, you get that cut. You kind of got to figure out everything. You got to kind of figure out your nutrition. You got to figure out your pancake stack. I think he's trying to dial in everything. And then, I think we're going to see him going for that number one spot eventually at East versus West. What's your guys' thoughts on that?
I think we're going to see him get that spot, to be honest. And if we're talking about 105 and then that being an open weight left-handed, I think we'll see Devon get a lot more comfortable around 248. And sure, Leonidas weighs whatever. Left hand, that's way more interesting. I think left hand is a stronger hand for Leonidas. So yeah, that's a lot more fun. That's a lot more interesting. I don't think we'll see a 105 kilo Devon. I think we'd see a little bit bigger, but like you said, him getting a lot more comfortable. He won't do that shit off the couch with Leonidas. He's also trained Leonidas.
That's what I was just about to remind everybody of that. You guys got to remember, he knows exactly where he's at, man. He was the one that brought him into arm wrestling.
Yeah.
He was living Leonidas. Didn't he come and stay at the house at Devon's house for a couple of weeks and all? And so, I mean, Devon, bro, he goes and he practiced with these guys and he's playing spy. He's learning the guy. He's learning the style. So he probably already has his homework and notes already on Leonidas. So, he's definitely going to, I think have the upper hand in that match. But just like you said, it will be a closer match, left hand than right hand. So I'm excited. Anytime that Devon's on a card, it's just like you all said, it brings so many more views. It makes sense for King of Tables.